Live. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Earth School Journey, where life is the curriculum and experience is the teacher. Bam, I said it.
You did it. Yes, yes. Oh, I keep forgetting
Classmates,
my bells.
classmates, y'all. I be forgetting to say it every time it's my turn to host first. I said
Oh,
it. I'm so proud of me right now.
I'm proud of you too. I wish I had my bell with me, but it's okay.
So, welcome to Earth School Journey. We are so glad that you're here. I'm Omi Steph. I am one of your co hosts, and this is my beautiful, wonderful co host and sister, Uni. We're so happy y'all are here.
Hi, guys.
So, it is a study hall week. This month was a little different. This is our fifth Wednesday. We usually do a journey talk this month because we love nature. We decided to just do 5 weeks talking about nature. And so that has been our theme this whole month, nature and the healing powers of it and our oneness with it and the divinity of it. And you know, we talk about it all the time on this channel. How much we absolutely love nature. I mean, we did call it Earth School Journey because that's what it is, right? So, we got a lot going on this time around. We have a lot of practices that we want to go over, and you know, practice is really like been the focus this month for me. Interestingly, although we're talking about nature, and I haven't been able to get out in nature a whole lot because it's been like 1,000 degrees and either 100% humidity or pouring rain and like the weather is too bad and too scary to go outside. So it's interesting, but you know, the idea of practicing and being in nature and even bringing nature inside so that I can continue to have connection with it has been really on my mind a lot lately. So I'm really excited about this week of, talking about this. So before we get started on just jumping into those practices, I just want to ask everyone, and then I'll ask you, Uni, how has Earth School been for you lately?
Oh,
How, yeah, how's it going, Uni? How is Earth
I don't
School?
have nothing to smoke on. I'll sip a little water as
That
I.
serious. Drink a
Well,
little water.
you know, listen, it's the week before my birthday. Literally, my birthday is next Wednesday, to be exact. So I feel like the time before your birthday, as I've learned, especially in studying astrology and really cardiology, really taught me that the time before your birthday, like that 52-week period, is your Neptune period. It's kind of like the time where you're kind of like between worlds. Like you've gone through all these different phases. You've gone through Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and now you're in Neptune. You know what I mean? So it's a time to like really review the previous year, consider where you are, or previous years. I've been going back like 20, 30 years, and really think about like where I'm going, and as it relates to the topic of this month. To be honest with you, I also have had a hard time getting outside. Like I haven't wanted to go outside at all. Like I've been wanting to like cocoon in the house a lot this month, to be honest with you. Like normally I'll go out, I'm like up early, go outside on my walk, no problem. Weather, I don't care if it's hot, if it, whatever, you know what I mean? But I have not had a desire to go outside. And I feel like I'm just like in this kind of like cocooning period. Like I just want to just nurture myself and just be with myself, and I feel like what it has been doing for me is just making me realize how I am um, still in certain, not really in certain cycles, but I'm cycling back through certain things that I've experienced. And like a few things I had to think, and I was like, Uni, like that was 30 years ago. Are you gonna keep letting that like get to you? Or 25 years ago or whatever, 25 to 30 years ago, like these things are, I'm like damn near crashing out. And
Right.
and so to be honest, I just have been just taking that time to nurture myself and be with myself and really doing that deep inner work and understanding like who I've been and like where I'm going to go next, and really leaning into a lot of my, we were talking about this earlier about how this Leo, excuse me, this, what is it, the Jupiter, Kazemi, and Leo with Mercury and the sun and everything. And I have been leaning into my creative projects, and I'm really proud of myself for that because, there's definitely been some times when I mean, I have a gazillion ideas. Like, I'm telling you, I don't, sometimes I'd be like, does anyone have ideas like me or is it just me? Because I have like a lot of ideas, but I want to really get to that point where I am really starting to execute and just being more consistent and just finding a system for me as well. So it's just been a lot of deep inner work going on in Earth School Journey for me, a lot of deep inner work. And I'm really grateful as always just that I have that mindset to like consider where I've been, where I am, and where I'm going. And I'm really just trying to be my best self. What about you? How's Earth School been going for you, sis?
It's been pretty intense.
Yeah.
It has. It was funny because I'm remembering back to the first week of July when we were going through the transits and we were like, "Oh, Leo's such a fun sign. This is gonna be a great month. It's gonna be so light and airy and so peaceful and what." And it has been. I'm not gonna say it hasn't been, but it has also been heavy, which I wasn't expecting. There's
Yeah.
been some heavy moments and big shifts. I can't say they've shifted. Like I feel big shifts in the works. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like things being moved, a lot of stuck energy. I feel like being, just at the beginning of starting to move. And so it's been interesting that that's the way it's been because we really were saying how, oh, I think it's going to be such a fun month. It's a, with all that. It's just really interesting to me how that went. Um, and so I've really been focused on like really leaning into this idea of oneness, really leaning into um, doing less in the physical and more in the spiritual. I've had this strong desire to like really double down on practice, on working on prayer, meditation, affirmations, really connecting with spirit. It's like you say, I have all these ideas too. Like that part of my connection with spirit seems to flow very well. That part of me that actually puts those things into action doesn't seem to flow as easily. And that's
Yeah.
where I'm doing my work now. You know what I mean? I'm working on that so that I can open that up and I can flow, what spirit wants to do through me out into the world. And I came to the realization that like I really want to do stuff that involves nature, right? I want to grow. I want to have ceremonies and like, like that's really where my ministry and my heart is. And so I kind of was like, "Oh yeah, like no, that's really what I want to do." So all of these other little ideas all kind of surround around that, like the practice, the podcast, the what I mean, like everything, YouTube, it's all centered around me just being this nature spirit and wanting that to be at the forefront of my life. Like that's how I'm meant to serve. And so it's been interesting to have these big, and maybe it's because my north node is in Leo. And so I'm kind of being pulled towards that purpose, towards that evolution, you know, that now is the time that this is kind of coming up. And didn't the nodes just go to the opposite? Like,
Yeah, it's
North Node's
North
in
Node.
Aquarius, South Node is in
Yeah,
Leo right now. So I don't know.
yeah,
That's probably hitting me in some kind of way too. I don't know. So it's been interesting. It's been busy.
yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I want to say, like, as you were talking about Leo being like a fun month, and my sun sign is Leo and tropical, and Vedic is a Cancer. Sometimes I wonder, like, where I am really. Sometimes I feel that Cancer energy, but um, I think I would be a progressed Virgo at this point, but all of that's besides the point. I wanted to say that the Leo energy, although it can be fun and romantic and creative, what I want to say is that some of the most creative people have been through the most stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like you go through these kind of dark, things, and your creativity is like how you survive it. Like you're a comedian, or you do art, or whatever it is. Like that creativity is what helps you to kind of like overcome for a lot of people. Not everyone, but for a lot of people. And so I kind of forgot about that part. And even being a Leo sun myself, that was the point of saying that. Like, I know, like, in tropical, I'm a Leo sun, but sometimes I wonder, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but I know that the Leo energy, as fun and creative, as romantic as it can be, it's a heavy energy. You know what I mean? It's a heavy energy. I was thinking about real quick. Um, Someone posted it, but I had posted it before as well. Like just talking about how when you look at the sun, your eyes literally hurt. You know what I mean? Like you really can't stare at the sun. And I feel like a lot of times Leo energy deals with a lot of burdens about people like viewing them and seeing them and how they view them and perceive them. And someone had posted like, "Oh, the only time people enjoy the sun is like when it's rising or when it's setting." You know what I mean? You love the sunrise, you love the sunset, but when it's up in the sky, everybody's in the house, they're under the AC, like nobody, So yeah, the Leo energy, as light as it may seem, it's heavy, and then it's fixed. Fixed
Yeah.
fire. So it's hot. It's it's not for play. As much as we want we it seems that way. It's I feel like a lot of Leos make it seem easier than what it really is. It's not an easy energy.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that because I was saying the same thing, and then as you were talking, I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Right.
I should know better.
Yeah. No,
I
I hear
think
you.
you're muted. You're muted.
I'm muted.
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. You can't
I
hear me?
can't hear you. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
I hear you.
I can't
Hmm.
hear you.
Still?
I can't.
No. I don't know.
Oh wait, it's my Bluetooth. I'm sorry. I don't
Okay.
know how it went off. I think I got
I
a
was
text
like,
message.
I
I'm
couldn't figure
sorry.
out what I'm like, I see the little thing moving. What's going on? And we're live.
My apologies. I just couldn't hear you. I'm like, what happened?
No, no worries, no worries. I'd rather you say something because if I'm talking and nobody can hear me, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
And that's how Earth School's going for us. How is it going for y'all, classmates? What's going on?
Right.
Oh, is it as hectic and chaotic as ours is? I don't know. So let's get into these practices. All right. We've got a lot to kind of cover today. I think it's because Uni and I just love being in nature. So we have lots of thoughts about, how those, what you can do. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, not tied to anything. Doing or not doing any of these practices is not going to make or break you necessarily. But if you're called to it, then do it. And, you know, I feel like Uni and I both had a quote unquote come to Jesus moment this month about spiritual hygiene. We always we always talk to you all about spiritual hygiene. That is the first thing that we mention when we get to the practices every month is that you need to have consistency in your spiritual hygiene. And I definitely had the revelation this month that I needed to be more consistent. I do have a daily practice. I definitely have improved on that, since earlier this year when we had that whole month on practice and ritual and all of that. Um, and I kind of got the intuitive hit that I needed to do it twice a day. Like it needs to be more than once a day. And so, that consistency is important. Um, and really following what your intuition and your spiritual guidance is telling you. And here comes Owen. Yep. And I just want to remind you all, you really want to try your best to be as consistent as you can. That's where the heavy lifting is. And if you're being consistent with a practice that's not working for you, maybe you need to try something different, you know? I feel like I came to that realization this month. Like some of my practices, it's not that they're not working, it's that they're not enough on their own. Like it's time for me to amp it up, step it up, and do something more. So that's really what has been coming to me about the spiritual hygiene and consistency. You need anything you want to add? You're muted.
My bad. I had muted so I could, so you might hear me. Um, Try not to be too hard on yourself, and if you fall off, just get back up. You know what I mean? It's just get back up again, and just understand that especially in this day and age with so many things going on, like we are literally bombarded with so much. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know, like when you're scrolling, you don't know the stuff your subconscious mind is picking up on, even stuff that
Yep.
you may not be interested in, that you scroll past, that some stuff you click, like, kind of like, just like instinctively, and you just sometimes you just don't really know. You know what I mean? A couple times I had to go back and be like, why did I like that? Let me unlike this. You know what
Yes.
I mean? So it's just like so important to really stay on top of your spiritual hygiene, and if you fall off, just get back up again. It's
Yes.
just get back up. Like we have so much going on, and I totally understand it being a challenge to stay consistent, but just do your best to get back up.
And I just want to add, I feel very strongly that being extremely discerning in your social media intake is
Hmm.
spiritual hygiene.
Right, that's very true.
It is.
Hmm.
Because you don't want to be taking in, things haphazardly, just, letting things into your spirit. You really want to be discerning about what you're putting in, and when things come across your feed that you don't like, hide them, not interested, whatever the feature is that you have to do to make that kind of post not come up anymore, do it. That's spiritual hygiene right there.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely.
All right, so let's move into some of these practices. And the first one is a practice on stillness, right? And Uni, do you wanna kind of go over this practice?
Yeah, I think that when we talk about stillness, it can be you being still physically, but the most important thing is for you to be still internally, right? For you to find that still place within yourself so that you can really be in observation of yourself first and foremost before you receive any messages from the divine or any messages from the you know the nature spirits as you're out there. You know what I mean? I think that stillness is like a really important practice. And again, it is you can be sitting still and be still, or you can be walking and still practicing stillness. You know what I mean? It's all in how you go within yourself and how you find that small, still, quiet place within yourself. You know what I mean? And you can do that anywhere, And so I think that when it comes to stillness, I've shared about it so many times about how stillness has helped me to really, create space for me to reflect and, just really understand like where I was in my life and where I wanted to be in my life, where I didn't want to be anymore, where I was able to recognize my own truths. You know what I mean? And I got some of those nudges and intuitive downloads from taking slow walks. You know what I mean? Where I didn't have my phone, I didn't have, a million messages coming at me or different people telling me what they wanted me to see or do, or you know what I mean? I didn't have all of that stuff going on. I was just able to be still within myself, and I started to have these realizations that helped me to get a better understanding of who I really was and what really wasn't comfortable for me, And I did a lot of that out in nature, during quarantine. I spent like that's when I really developed my love for nature. It's been like 6 years now or so, taking walks every day, paying attention to the trees, and just allowing myself to notice things about myself and my surroundings that I hadn't necessarily, like maybe I knew or I felt them, but I wasn't able to really act on them for whatever reason.
Hmm.
To able to go into that still space within myself. So yeah, I mean there's so many ways to be still, and you don't necessarily have to be sitting in a yoga pose like this and
Right,
with your
right.
legs crossed to practice stillness.
Yeah. So stillness in a actually being still set form, and we're going to talk about a sacred attention practice that you can practice being still, and then we're also going to talk about a nature walk, which is another form of stillness, right? And then we're going to have a bunch of other practices that we're going to talk about, and any of those other practices can be done while you're doing you know actual stillness, sitting still, or while you're on a nature walk. So I wanted to make that clear. The first two things we're going to talk about are kind of like a base practice of just, being still, being attentive, taking that moment. It's kind of like when you sit in meditation and then you do affirmations and then you do, prayer or whatever. It's these, the sacred attention practice and a nature walk, which are just two versions of the same thing pretty much. One is moving, one is sitting, are just the base for you to do some of these other practices that we're going to talk about. So, like I said, the first one is the sacred attention practice. And it's really just the practice of going outside and spending 5 to 10 minutes just observing, to just sit and look and see and observe and take note of what you see. And it's not really analyzing, it's not really like, any of that. It's just, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I feel? What's moving? What's still? How do I feel? Like, how does my energy feel in this moment? Being aware of that, the breeze on your skin or the lack thereof. The feel of the sun on your skin. All of those things can do you if you're sitting in the grass, which you don't have to be in the grass. You could be in a chair or on your steps out front. Whatever works for you. But if any part of your body is touching grass or dirt, or soil, I should say. I'm gonna stop calling it dirt or soil. How does it feel to be grounded in the earth? You know, and just pay attention and spend 5 to 10 very quiet moments paying attention. Anything you want to add, Uni, on the sacred attention practice?
No, I think that was perfect.
Okay. And so while you're doing that sacred attention practice, maybe some of these other things that we're going to talk about in just a minute will, appeal to you, and you can go from that observing period to then doing some of the other practices. Okay. Next up is the nature walk. You want to talk about the nature walk?
I would love to talk about the nature walk.
This is one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites, absolutely. And I feel like I didn't even realize I was like jumping ahead a little bit because that's how much I love like nature
Nature
walks.
walk.
But you can do it barefoot. You can have shoes on, flip flops, whatever floats your boat. Just pay attention to the landscape and make sure that you're not stepping in anything that could hurt you or leave you with something that you don't want on your feet. But nature walks are a beautiful way to connect with nature, connect with the divine, connect with yourself, connect with other people. I have spent so much time just dilly dallying out in nature, being all, leaning into my whimsy. Um, Honestly, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not going on saying other stuff that's off the that's going to other stuff. Okay, I think I'm good. Yes, thank you so much, KD McGee 11. Ticks and other small insects, you have got to watch. Safety first. Yes, thank
Right.
you so much for that, sis. Safety first. Wear light clothing so that you can see ticks that if they get on you. Have your arms covered, your legs long socks. Put your pants inside your socks if you can. Wear bug spray with D. The tick thing is a real thing, so definitely be aware of that. Um, but once you get out there, I mean, it's so beautiful. I feel like for me personally, and I've shared this before, and I will share it until I'm old and gray, that being out in nature, it just does something to you. When you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have anything to do, you can just go take a walk through a trail or hike up a mountain or whatever the case, or just walk in the park. It's absolutely beautiful. And for me, it has been and I've shared this before, but I'll share it again. What has helped me so much is really connecting my senses with nature has helped me to connect more so with myself. You know, paying, looking at the trees, looking up at how high some of the trees are, looking at the girth of the tree bark and the stumps that are there. Sitting on tree stumps, is a great grounding practice, especially if you have an imbalanced root chakra. As you're going on your walk, taking, smelling, stop. I mean, they say stop and smell the roses. Stop and smell everything. Let me tell you something. So many trees and plants, and I mean, some of these things you wouldn't believe how good they smell. Like
Hmm.
you wouldn't believe how amazing they smell if you didn't take it and smell some of them. For some things, it's, you have to get the essence out of it. You have to rub it out. Some things smell, you can smell them, just by sniffing them. But I mean, that's the beauty of nature. Some of us, you got to kind of rub us the right way to, get the
Right.
goodness out of us too. You know what I mean? So I think that going on nature walks is amazing. Paying attention to the shapes that you see, the colors, counting, different types of trees, or if you see two or three of the same type of birds, or if you see, two or three different types of birds. I mean, just paying attention on your nature walks, it does something to you. It pulls you into the present moment. It pulls you into this natural flow of life. And
Hmm.
I'm telling you, you forget about everything for however many minutes. You
Hmm.
forget about all the other stuff. It helps you to become present with yourself and present with life. And I'm telling you, I feel like my time in nature has helped me to again just really connect with my higher self, and lead me into some places, and connect with some people that I just didn't know how amazing a lot of that was. I got into bird watching a little bit. I still got to get some binoculars. Like, paying attention to birds is like I never would have thought I would have like cared what birds are doing. Like, I swear, like, what? Feel like, what? You know what I mean? But over the last like 5 or 6 years, I'm like, oh wow, there's a different bird. I didn't see that one before. Now I'm looking it up and learning about the different birds. Um, I just think that when you spend time outside without trying to necessarily get something or give something. You
Hmm.
just allow nature to show you, to teach you. You know, going out early in the morning, I learned that birds like in the afternoon or in the evening, like they'll like fly away from you right away. In the morning, it's like they're still waking up. They're all tired. They're like, you move out the way. I'm not moving out the way. It's like, I'm telling you, like, just seeing like nature behave differently at different times of the day, and I don't know, it's just been so beautiful for me. And I just think that more people should pay attention, because this is the world that we live in,
Hmm.
and not to get on a soapbox or anything, but I do think that it's a serious issue that we don't know the world around us.
Yeah.
We don't know the world around us.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So, I mean, that's a whole nother thing that I've definitely gone on and on about. So I won't do that today, but I will say that, taking time in nature, going on those nature walks, spending time grounding, take off your shoes if you can, if it's a clean park, if you find a nice grassy spot. I'm telling you, if it don't work for you, come back here and comment and tell me. And
Right.
I, you know what I
I
mean?
want to
Because
know. I want to
right.
know.
Because I know that's not what's going to happen. So,
Yeah. Oh, and so yeah, let's go move on to some of these other things that you could do while you're on your walk. You already mentioned pretty much all of them. Okay.
I'm sorry. I knew it. I was trying not to.
You try not to, but it just, the walk itself is just a walk. You
It
can just
is.
very slowly and consciously, if you're gonna,
Yeah.
especially if you're going barefoot, you want to go slowly and consciously. Put your foot down slowly, and really pay attention to what you're feeling. Um, if you're walking in the woods, I don't suggest going barefoot. Probably not the best way to do it.
No, no, no.
Definitely recommend, some nice hiking boots.
Yeah.
Hey, if you really want to ground, there are devices that can help you still ground while you're on your walk, but we won't get into that because nobody's paying us to talk to you about those products. um, but while you're walking, all of the things that Uni mentioned are great practices. We want you to see nature itself as a spiritual practice and to spend real intentional time with nature. And that's the whole point, is to spend some intentional time with nature. If you can do it every day, great. Make it a part of your daily practice, at least in the warmer months. But even in the colder months, getting out once a week, or you know if the best you can do is once a month, just being intentional about that. I would say in the wintertime I probably don't get out every day, but I definitely get out when the moon is full, and I definitely get out when there's a new moon because the stars are amazing. Because you can see so many of the stars, you know um and just being intentional and setting, you don't necessarily have to have an agenda, but putting it on your calendar. This is when I go outside. This is when I spend time with Pachamama. This is when I spend time with Mother Nature. And just being in nature, So just really observe, listen, allow nature to teach you, allow nature to love you. Nature's always loving you, but be out there and consciously feel it,
Yeah.
you know? Um, Green is the color of the heart chakra. And when I found that out, it was like, oh, everything in nature is green. Like, not everything, but like so much of nature is green.
Yeah.
And to know that like, it's literally, you just look out and everywhere you are, it's Mother Nature telling you that she loves you, that she cares about you, that she's here for you. Like, it's her heart chakra to ours. Like,
Yeah.
amazing to even just be aware of. Um, so we talked about stillness, we talked about listening, we talked about, like, just occasionally asking the question and not feeling the need to answer it yourself. I'm saying ask the question and just allow the answer to come to you. What is nature inviting me to notice or to remember? What is it that you want me to see? What is it that I need to know for this part of my journey? Um, but sometimes really it's just connecting and knowing that you are a part of it, right? Um, see where we are on time. We still got time. Uh, Gratitude and reciprocity. You want to go over gratitude and reciprocity?
Yes. When we go outside, and Umi has talked about this a lot as well, um, before harvesting the fruits and vegetables that she has planted and nurtured and cared for throughout the season, she gives thanks, you know. When I go out to, on my nature walks, I always give thanks. If I grab a piece of mugwort, I ask a lot of times too, like, do you mind? And,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, give thanks. And I inhale, I mean, mugwort, oh my God. Like, I knew mugwort smelled good, but sometimes it smells so amazing. Like, there at this new park I've been going to the last 6 months, the mugwort there is different. Like, it smells so good. Like, it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole nother story. But anyways, like, giving gratitude for just being able to experience that aromatherapy, and it makes me feel good. And I know that essential oils, which come from nature, I know that they help us in different ways, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. There's a whole, I've done so many lessons on aromatherapy, and to be able to go outside and experience it. Like, when I was working at the park, there was catnip growing. Oh my God, I didn't know catnip smelled so good. No wonder the cats be going crazy for this. Like, I'm going crazy for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I feel like, giving thanks for, that. And when you can, giving back, do you have any seeds? You can go to your local library. You can go to the nature centers at different parks, state parks, local parks, and a lot of times they have seeds. Maybe you plant some seeds in your yard, or if there's a abandoned lot or something. I've seen people do that, and the flowers sprout up, and next you see butterflies. You know what I mean, or bees in there, um, pollinating and enjoying. And so just really having gratitude for nature, not just the beauty, but all that she gives us. You know what I mean? She gives us so much, and giving back when we can. And if you see, I know sometimes it's not easy, but taking part in cleanups. Like I've done cleanups at parks where they have like beach cleanups, or like there's like nature areas, like really volunteering to help clean up some of these areas. That's another way to give back. Volunteering at your local community gardens and helping them, because none of these people get paid, and they're out there making our neighborhoods beautiful, keeping our local parks beautiful, making it so that there's pollinators and things like that, or there's gardens available for the pollinators, and just really understanding that we've really got to come together, you know what I mean, to, the same way nature has its own ecosystem, like we're supposed to be working in an ecosystem as well. And I feel like when we got out of community based living and we were put into these neighborhoods, it kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it kind of separated something. I'm still working on figuring it out. I've been doing some etymology on the difference between community and neighborhood, but I think that all in all, if you just take some time to give back and volunteer in some way, I mean, any park that you have around you, state park, local park, county park, whatever, there's going to be some volunteer opportunities, and I hope that you, just give back.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And that's something we can find to do in really small ways, even just composting,
Oh yeah.
recycling, you know, recycling above and beyond kind of what you're required to. There's different ways to recycle. Instead of
Yeah.
throwing things away, you could donate them. There's so many different ways, and that's important. We don't see that as being, having reciprocity from Mother Earth necessarily, but it is, because then it's not in the landfill. It's not, we want to avoid as much going to landfills as possible.
Damn,
Taking
homie, you just. I'm sorry. I have a whole bunch of, like, I have a bag downstairs, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna just throw it in the garbage because I'm not gonna get to like Goodwill. I just said that like 2 hours ago. Okay, I'm not gonna throw it in the garbage.
Or even they have those, I don't know if they have any near you. I know they have a couple out
Mm-hmm.
here. The little bins that, you just
Mm-hmm.
toss stuff in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's better to just donate it than, I don't know. Composting is a big one. I think if you have the space and you have a yard at all, any kind of yard, composting, if you're going to be growing things, gardening to me is a great way to be, for reciprocity and gratitude, because in taking care of a garden, like in my garden, I make sure I have plants for pollinators. I make sure that I have plants that are nitrogen fixing, so that they put nitrogen back into the soil so that other plants can benefit from that nitrogen. And, you're weeding, and you're making sure that there are, and there's balance, right? We want to get rid of pests that are, bugs that are pests. I have blister beetles in my yard right now. They're driving me nuts. Can't stand them. They eat everything up, and you can't smack them because they'll leave a blister on your hand. They're terrible. Um, and I have milkweed bugs, which I don't really. The milkweed bugs aren't really harmful, but they will eat all your green plants. So, taking care of, the plants in that way, and making sure that there's harmony and balance. My aim is never to get rid of all of the bugs, but it's just to make sure that there's balance, and I feel like when I'm able to do that, then I can see that Mother Nature is happy, because I have so much more fruit. I will have so many more tomatoes and so much more lettuce and you know what I mean? There's so much more. She can give more if we're taking care of her, just like humans, you know? You got to take care of the people who take care of you. Has to happen.
That part.
So, yeah, reciprocity and gratitude are really big. And I think part of reciprocity is, like you said, asking for permission,
Yeah.
you know? Yes, we always talk about, going out and grabbing a leaf and doing all those things. Ask for permission. I feel like most of the time you get a yes. Mother Nature wants to share her beauty with you. And the smell, Oh my gosh, is the smell is what sold us on moving to Virginia. We moved down here because we went to go see a piece of land, and the smell of her was so sweet. Gracie smelled so sweet, and she still
Wow.
does. And
Wow.
like, it's just this beautiful. I am so excited that I'm going to get to wake up and smell that on a regular basis.
Oh, I love that for you.
So, she wants to share her scents with us. She wants to share her sounds with us and her, everything. So, the tastes and all of that. So, you want to give back and have gratitude so that we don't deplete her. You know, Someone who's depleted can't care for you. Can't. They can't. So, okay, I'll hop off my soapbox. Presence and wonder. Presence and wonder. Um, and I feel like this is missing from our lives in general. It's just having a sense of wonder, and going out and doing this practice in nature, either on a nature walk or while you're sitting and paying attention, having that sacred attention. Um, I mean, that's really what it is. It's getting really granular and picking up a leaf and seeing the veins in the leaf and seeing if it's a leaf that's brown and has fallen from a tree for in the fall, like noticing what that looks like, what the colors are, even crinkling it and hearing the crackle of it and just getting that granular in the detail and really knowing it. It's like somebody paying attention to you, like and wanting to know everything about you.
Yeah.
And Mother Nature wants us, to know her. So you can look at a leaf, you can watch the birds, like you said. Bird watching is so much fun. Like, you would not think.
It
It's
is,
so much fun.
man. Man, listen. And real quick, like I watch birds, but when I looked through with some binoculars this past year, I was like, oh my god, it's a whole nother world. Like, yeah, bird, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bird watching can be so much, especially now where we have technology and you can have. There's an app called BirdNet. I have this app called BirdNet, and like as soon as you open it up, it starts recording, and then you can catch the sound, and then you can pause it, and or you can stop it, and then you can analyze that clip, and it'll tell you what birds it hears.
Wow, wow.
So it'll help you to identify what those birds are, who they are, and that's what I mean in getting, really paying attention to the detail. What bird is this?
Yeah.
Christy has her a bird called a white-throated sparrow. She's in the chat. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's called a white-throated sparrow. And we know the sound of this bird and we hear it everywhere. And
Aw.
then we won't hear it for a while and then it'll come back and we'll hear it again. And we've developed a relationship with this bird. I mean, she really more than me has a relationship. She'll hear it. She'll like, there goes my bird.
Aw.
you
Aw.
know? But you'll notice things like that. You'll notice that there's a specific bird that shows up for you. You'll notice different birds when you hear them, when you start to really notice them, you know? And even if you see the bird and you haven't heard it yet, you can look it up and hear what it sounds like. I feel like that's a right use of technology when it comes to spiritual practice. You're trying to really get to know these things. And then you won't need it anymore because you'll know what it sounds like. Um, Noticing the breeze. I feel like the breeze is not something we notice enough. The wind, the feel of it, the smell of it. You know what I mean? And we don't really pay attention enough to the air because it's not visible unless it's swaying trees. But even noticing that, noticing the sway of the trees and the leaves and the plants and the grass, I think one of the most beautiful things you can see is a field of grass when the wind is blowing over it and watching the wind play on the grass because you can see it, you can see the swirls, you know, when those swirls happen, it's so beautiful. Watching clouds. Like you can do that year round. You can do that from inside. You don't even have to be outside to watch clouds.
Right.
So you're not getting out of that one. Like you can't tell me there's no spiritual practice you can do from inside that involves nature. You can
Yeah.
watch clouds. You definitely can. That's one that you could do. You know. And watching clouds not at different times, right? Dawn versus dusk, two different beasts. Similar but different, you know what I mean? Midday, and then looking at the different types of clouds. Sometimes you have the big fluffy ones, sometimes you have the little thin ones that are wispy. Sometimes there's layers. I love when there's layers, like you could see clouds up high and then down low, and some are moving faster than others, and
Yeah.
really just paying attention to all of that. Um, Flowers, there's so many different things in nature. Watching squirrels. Squirrels are hilarious too. You can have
They
so much fun with
are. And chipmunks too. I
them.
done found some
You
chipmunks
about some
recently.
chipmunks?
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Dragonflies.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching the dragonflies play.
Mm-hmm.
Or even the bees on the sunflowers.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
watching the bees on the sunflowers. And there's all these little things that you wouldn't think, you just go outside and you're like, oh, that's outside. Yes. There's trees, there's plants, there's grass, there's dirt, there's this, you know what I mean? But to really zoom in on something,
Yeah.
maybe each time you go out, you pick one thing to zoom in on, and really just be in awe of it. Like, that's amazing. Look at all of those. We talked about bark one time, about watching like the ants crawling on the bark, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you see sap. Sometimes,
Ooh.
you
It's
know,
so
yeah,
sometimes it smells really good
it really
too.
does. Yeah, sometimes it smells really good. Anything you want to add on presence and wonder?
No, not really. I want to say real quick. Yeah, there is something that I was thinking about. It just came back to me. Is the what you're touching on is like the spirit behind all of that. The spirit behind all of that is what's in us too.
Hmm.
That bee that knows to go to that sunflower to get what it needs or to pollinate or whatever it's doing there. Don't quote me. the the wind blowing through the grass and the leaves, and you know what I mean, the birds, diving down into the grass or the water or whatever it is that they're, or chilling up in the trees, whistling, singing, whatever it is, that there is spirit there.
Yes.
And when you pay attention to that spirit, you can be inspired. And I think that's really what we're saying, is that
Hmm.
observing nature inspires us, because we are what we are observing. We are one with those birds, with the trees, with the land. We are one with Mother Nature. And so it's just so inspirational. It does something to you. And if it doesn't, I want you to really think about that. I remember going up to, real quick, I went up on a mountain with someone. We went up this mountain, and I mean, it took a lot to get up there. Like, I had a little car at the time. I was like, oh my God, like, is my car gonna make it up this mountain? And I go up the mountain, and all I see are trees and maybe some mountains. It wasn't like colorful, or what. It was green, which was beautiful to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the person I was with was like, I don't see nothing, and I was like,
Mm,
whoa.
yeah.
We're at the top. First of all, we climbed up this mountain. I don't know how far we are. We're X amount of feet above sea level. There's trees all down below us. There's some mountainous, terrain or whatever, and you don't see nothing.
Right.
Something is off. You're not connected to spirit. There's something missing there.
Yeah.
And so I mean, not to judge anybody, but just something for you to consider. you
Hmm.
know we are nature, nature is us. We came from nature. When we leave this, we're going back to nature.
Right.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we are running out of time.
Yeah,
Do we want to do the crystals and the herbs, or?
we could just do the, I mean, whatever you want to do. It's up to you.
Well,
Either way.
let's do the crystals. I actually
Okay.
don't have mine with me. I've been
Aw.
carrying it since we had our conversation, like in my pocket, and now I realize it's in the dirty clothes bin in my pocket.
Oh. Aw.
I got out here and as soon as I like got on and I looked at this, I was like, oh, my unikite is in
Aw,
my pocket. It's
aw.
such a pretty stone too. It's like
Your
green and
unakite is beautiful.
yes,
It's
it's
beautiful.
I wanted to be able to show it to you all. I'm so sorry that I took my
It's
clothes off
okay.
yesterday and I just left it in my pocket, forgotten.
It's okay.
Um, so yeah, I was trying to, I was trying to connect with it as I was getting ready to talk to you all about it. And, it's a stone that's really teaches us patience, which I think is what's necessary for us to really connect with nature. You need to be able to sit and be still and be quiet and pay attention. And that requires some patience. So I feel like Unakite is a great stone for that. It really teaches us that, change takes time. I mean, look at nature. Yes, she's always changing, but those changes are not abrupt. They're not usually abrupt. Sometimes they are, like a volcano exploding or a big storm or something like that. But overall, nature takes a lot of time. Evolution takes time, right? And so it teaches us that patience. Um, and to just allow things to unfold at their own pace, wisdom to unfold at its own pace. It really stimulates the third eye and it's good for visualization, and other forms of psychic, work and emotional, mental kind of work. So yeah, I really wish I had it with you because it is so pretty. It's a mossy green and like a pinkish brown kind of color. It's really pretty.
It is. It was so beautiful. As soon
Yeah.
as you pulled it out there, I was like, oh, unakite. I
Yeah.
haven't worked with one in a while, but it was one of my very first stones that I ever got. So I know it well. I love
Yeah.
unakite. It's one of my favorite. Oh, well, thank you for sharing. So really quick, the one I have is moss agate, and moss agate is a grounding stone. It's another green one. I have a few different ones. Please excuse my nails. I have been on strike from the nail salon. I'm gonna learn how to do my own damn nails if it's the last thing I do. But so this is moss agate. It's like this kind of green. It's a really dark green. I have another. So this one is rough, and then I have one that's kind of like tumbled. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's a grounding stone. It's a way to connect with nature. It represents growth, renewal, steady development. It reminds us that we belong to the earth and that growth is supported by strong roots. So it's a really good one for the root chakra. You can use it during meditation while you're taking your nature walks, or you just like Umi said, you could just have it in your pocket with you throughout your day to help you connect with the earth as we have been going throughout this month. And like I said, I haven't really been wanting to be outside. I've been wanting to cocoon and be in the house. Um, this past week when we were talking about, and I've actually connected with some other stones, but when we decided that we were going to work with these ones, I was like, oh yeah, same thing you did. Like I started, I had them with me next to my bed. I was using them and working with them in meditation.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad that you brought up like working with the greener stones, because there were some other stones that I was looking at. But the theme that I got from Moss Agate was stay rooted while allowing yourself to grow. And for someone
Ooh.
who doesn't, yeah, like for me,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't have. I tell people all the time, like my Earth placements in my astrological chart are like the most painful ones. So it can be very challenging for me to connect to this earthly realm, if you will. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, working with root chakra stones and stones that are really that help me stay grounded are really they've been really helpful to me over the years. So I'm so glad that this one came up, and I'm going to continue working with it. So yeah,
Well, I think we'll save the herbs. Both of them. The herbs we were going to talk about were rosemary and lavender, y'all. We talk
yeah,
about that all the time. Y'all
we
know.
do.
It's already 7 o'clock. So We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna tell you about my nature moment just now when you saw me just kind of like, okay. Owen was at the top of the fence. We have a 6 foot privacy fence. He was walking across the top of the fence with a kicking baby rabbit in his mouth.
Oh my God, Owen. Owen is
And
about that life.
it just freaked me out for a second. And I was just like, oh my God, the baby rabbit. It's just,
Oh,
okay, that's nature being nature. You can't get involved, okay? You just can't.
Owen
Okay.
about that life.
He really is. He really is. Okay, y'all. Owen is a killer. Okay.
My God,
I don't know why he has to go for the baby rabbits. Oh, they're so cute. Why? Why?
they
Anyway,
are
just be prepared when you're out in nature. Random stuff like that does happen. Okay,
very
it
true.
does. Nature can be a little harsh sometimes. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
That was a bit much. I was just like, oh my God, you got
yeah.
the rabbit. Anywho, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all so much for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been Earth School Journey. Wait, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I gotta get back up there so I remember what it is. Wait, where is it?
Ah,
This has been Earth School Journey, where life is the curriculum and experience is the teacher. We love you. We love you. We bless you. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Peace.